Just tell us here a little bit about Stone. He committed to West Virginia yesterday. What type of a player is West Virginia getting overall?
I think Stone is going to be one of those hidden gems that a lot of people didn't know about. He was kind of passed on by some schools that that everybody was looking for December guys, and normally that's a kind of a prerequisite for offensive linemen is for a guy to be a December guy. And had Stone transferred or came here earlier, it would be he's a good enough student that by far he would have been out of here by December. But we got him late last summer from southeastern Louisiana, and he was a guy that we had recruited out of high school and felt like had a tremendous upside. But he played tackle in high school, but he's more of a center's body. When you see him, he's kind of a Greek god-looking kind of guy, and just a tremendous athlete, and for an offensive lineman. So I think he's one of those guys that's going to be a steal for him.
How well did he adapt to playing center? As you said, wasn't necessarily a natural center in high school. Not everybody can snap and block well. How did he adapt?
He did a great job for us. I'll tell you what kind of happened to him is the second game of the season on Tuesday's practice, he breaks his right hand and snaps left-handed for us. So about mid part of the season where he eventually gets his right hand back, and he's just an athlete, and that can do things that most offensive linemen can't do. He probably run a 4.8. He's a guy that can run, that's athletic, that he can get to the second level or third level on guys pretty easy, and he was great on screens. And as the season went on, he got better and better. Just when he finally got control of his both being able to block with both hands, and he was a unanimous choice, all state selection here in our league, and he's just going to be a really good player down the road.
You mentioned his snapping. You guys doing stuff under center, exclusively out of shotgun, offensively? What do you ask him to do?
We did both here.
Right, Coach. Stone mentioned his time here in Morgantown and his trip, and how well he really liked the campus and how much it kind of reminded him of his home back there in Mississippi. Did that play a very big role in him deciding to come here?
Well, I think so. And then there was a direct relationship that we had with guys that are on the staff there. Andrew McGee played here for me, and was first class guy, and went on and played at Oklahoma State, and was just a tremendous person. I can't say enough about what kind of guy Andrew McGee is, and then Coach McFarland, my offensive line guy, had a connection with another coach on the staff, and so it was easy for us to push Stone and try to sell him to the staff there, and he's just gonna get better and better. He only plays center for 1 year, and and like I say, he's going to be a really good football player down the road for him. He's a 3-for-2 guy, and he's if he'd have been here for 2 years, there's no telling what would have happened for him.
Yeah, you mentioned the connection there with your offensive line coach, Robert McFarland, head coach of Stephen F. Austin, and, of course, where Shannon Dawson was before he came to West Virginia. How did that process work? Did you guys reach out to him and say, hey, we've got a guy here you might want to look at, or how did that kind of go down?
Yeah, that was basically it. Robert had talked to Coach Dawson, and, we had talked to several other people that, there was people that were kind of trying to make their mind up whether or not they wanted to spend on out-of-state, on a junior college offensive lineman just because of not being able to have them there in training. And I think when Stone went up there on his visit, and they actually got to talking football and about making calls, and I think them seeing that Stone is a very intelligent guy and he understands the game, that it may have made the decision for them to be able to take him a lot easier. And then the relationship with coach, that's what coaching is about relationships that we all develop, and being able to trust somebody when they tell you about a guy that's a good player. A lot of coaches will say your kids, and we're kind of overly cautious of that sometimes. But we've had a bunch of good players play here. Nick Fairley played here, went to Auburn. Daquan Menzie played here, went to Alabama. Ken Adams played here, went to LSU. We've had a lot of good players, and Stone has a chance of being in those guys' quality.
Coach, you've had a lot of good players, and traditionally Mississippi junior colleges have turned out a ton of them. What is it that has made that area? Is it just the players that you guys get from down there? What has made the Mississippi junior college ranks among the best anywhere?
Well, I mean, probably the best thing is that there's 14 of us in the state, and we play each other, and I think it's one of the toughest leagues in America. And a lot of people compared it to the SEC, and we're the same as SEC of junior college football, and the state of Mississippi per capita, year in, year out, has as many pro players taken, and I think that says a lot about our style and quality of football that's played here. And then, like I say, the league is just so tough in the coaching and everything. I think, everybody does a good job, and we have really good players, and competition is so good.
Again, we're speaking with Glenn Davis. He's the head coach of West Virginia's offensive line commit, Stone Underwood. And, Coach, we do appreciate your time. Last thing here for you, what's the perception overall of West Virginia and the Mountaineer football program from a football standpoint from where you're at?
I mean, we get to watch those guys on television several times. Like I said, my son and Andrew played together here. He was there actually for the Oklahoma game this year. He stayed with Andrew, and like I say, anytime as big as the TV market is now, so you get to see everybody, and we know what kind of football that they play there, and have known all the way back to when Coach Nalen was there. I mean, I can remember when Major Harris played there, and it's just good football. And I've had a guy that actually coached for me years ago, Carson Jeffers, is from the state of West Virginia, and he always talked about how good football was at West Virginia. And so I think that Stone's looking forward to going and playing in the Big 12, and I just think it's a good league. It's a big time offensive league for sure. So I know he's fired up about it, and we're excited for him.